Hi, this is Mr. Smith, and in this video I'll be going over the syllabus for college algebra this semester. So first of all, it talks here about contacting your instructor. We're expected to get back to you within 24 hours. I'm usually much faster than that. But over the weekend, our responses may be delayed just because who knows what Mr. Smith will be doing on the weekend. But again, I'm pretty good about getting back to students, so I think you'll find that to be the case. My name is Scott Smith. My nickname is 1T because my first name has only 1T. If you need to get a hold of me, you can use email, which works quite well. But if you need to have like a conversation, you may want to use this number. It's a Google Voice number, so you can call me or text me there. We are not on campus this semester. I will let you know about office hours, and if you need to get a hold of the division office for any reason, you can click on this virtual link. Oops, let me see if that'll work. No, it's not going to work. And it'll take you to where you can literally talk to them. I don't know if you'll see them or not, but you can reach them at that location. All right, let's go ahead and go on to the next page. So let's see, I don't think there's a whole lot here you need to know. This is our section. This means we're an internet course. The certification date is important because that's basically when we indicate to the school that you are actively attending. And so there's some assignments that you need to do, sections 1.1 through 1.3. with an average of 80%, and that's how you certify that you're participating. And after that, it's just, later on we'll do a couple of progress reports, and that'll be determined by how you're doing on the assignments. Last day to withdraw from this course is November 12th. And the only thing I would say about that, hopefully everybody will get through, but if for some reason you need to drop the course, I would encourage you to just do it the right way. Here it talks about talking to, like for example, if you're a veteran, you'll probably want to talk to Veterans Affairs. If you're getting financial aid, you should talk to them. Because the bottom line is a lot of times what happens is students will just stop attending and they're like, I'm done with this college thing. And then a couple years later, they change their mind, they come back and they find they're on financial or academic probation. So you just want to make sure you do things the right way, because you never know what's going to happen in the future, and I don't want to see that happen to you. So let's move on to the next slide. Required course material. Okay, so this is new. We have what's called the Include Ed program, which means your materials, normally it's your textbook. Those kind of materials are included with the cost of tuition. So in our course, you get My Math Lab, which is the program we're going to be using, which includes an online textbook, and that's included with the cost of the course. Now, what's not included will be the graphing calculator, so that's something that you will need to get. Borrow one or do whatever you need to do. There's a lot of great deals you can get on the internet, but you are going to need at least a TI-83, but preferably a TI-84, so that talks about that here. And if for whatever reason you decided not to be part of this program, I would encourage you to contact me, because we've just got to make sure that things get set up correctly so that you're able to start right away and you're not waiting to be set up in eCampus. All right, let's move on to the next slide. So obviously, since this is an internet course, or an online course, you're going to need to have access to the internet, reliable access, especially when you're taking a test. So you're going to need, hopefully you have your own personal computer, but you need to have regular access to some computer with internet access. So again, we're going to be running My Math Lab, and it's going to be happening through eCampus. It's an online textbook-based software where you'll complete assignments. Let's see, what else do you need to know here? So this just talks a little bit more about the Include Ed, but It's not so important here. But here's a key thing here. If you've used my math lab in the past, things will probably be different this time because my math lab is now included or integrated into eCampus. And so you're always going to get into my math lab through eCampus. You're never going to go and sign in through the old Pearson website that we used to use. All right, let's go on to the next slide. And if you have any questions about any of this, please contact me and I'll try to make sure it's clear. Whoops, did I miss anything? No. All right, so procedures and policies. So this is going to be really important. Communicating with your instructor. Every week I'm going to make an announcement in eCampus to remind you what's going to be going on during that week, what's due, and I'll include any important announcements. This first week, you're going to probably get a few announcements from me. So you should receive an email when these announcements are made. So if you're not receiving them, you're going to want to check your email address in eConnect. And that's true for all your classes. You're going to miss a lot of information if you're not, if your correct email address is not in there. The course schedule is also in the syllabus, and you'll see the due dates for the assignments while you're working in my math lab. They're also inside of my math lab as well, so you should have no problems knowing when things are due, but the schedule and the assignments are labeled as when they're due in my math lab. Let's see. If you need to get a hold of me, again, you can use email. You can text me, or you can call me. When you either text me or email me, let me know which class you're in, because I have 7 classes, and a lot of times you may get an email back that says, "Who the heck are you?" Let's look at the next one here. Attendance, participation. So this is important because, again, in order to be certified as attending the course, you're going to need to complete assignments, homework assignments 1.1 through 1.3, and you need to have an average of 80%. 90% is what's recommended, as you'll see shortly. That's what I'm going to want you shooting for on the homework, and there's a reason to do that. We'll get to that in a minute. So just be careful. If you're getting financial aid or other money, it's quite likely to affect that if you're not certified. So you want to make sure you take care of business there. After that, again, your participation and progress is based on how you're doing on the assignments. All right, let's go to the next slide. So on graded work, here's all the assignments. You can see homework is 10% of your grade, quizzes are 10%. You have 4 tests that combine for a total of 60%, which means each test is worth 15% of your grade, and the final is 20% of your grade, so that's a significant part. And you'll notice we use the standard grading scale, so 90 to 100% is an A, and so on. And so here's the important thing. Note you'll have the opportunity to replace the score earned on a test grade, excluding test 4, with the score earned on the final exam if you have an average score of at least 90% on all the homework. So by getting an average of 90% or better on all the homework, I'm willing to basically replace your lowest test score with what you get on the final. And what I've found is students that are getting 90% average on their homework are normally going to pass the course. Of course, there's no guarantees, but that's a pretty good indication. All right, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so here in this description of homework, basically when you come into my math lab, there's going to be a section that I think I said it's either video or notes in video, something like that, and you'll click on that, and that's going to have a link to the book, and gosh, I'm trying to remember. I can't recall if you have PowerPoint slides or not there, although I do think you have access to some of those, and I'll show you that when I do my video. but after the video link, below that, you'll have the actual assignment. So basically, you're going to use all the materials in the video link, which includes my own videos, and I would basically have a notebook and encourage you to take notes on that, and then you'll go do the homework. And as you're doing the homework, you'll have the opportunity, normally you'll get about 3 attempts to do a problem, and if you get it wrong, then you can click on similar question, and then if you get it right, it'll correct that problem. So the point is, if you're willing to go back and correct any missed problems, you can easily get 100% on every homework assignment. I'm not saying it doesn't take some time, but you have that ability. The question help button gives you access to the book, videos, step-by-step help, and you can also email me the problem that you're having, or the question you're having problems with, and a lot of times I'll send back either a short written solution if it's not too bad, or if it's more complex, I may send you back a video, and at some point I'll put these videos up so that students can look through them and see if there's maybe a problem you're having, and I've already done a video for that. Notice on the test review assignments, you'll have up to 2 attempts, and I'll take your highest score. So homework, again, is 10% of your grade. Basically, the quizzes you should use those to measure how you're doing as far as learning the material. Because you might do sections 1 through 3, 1.1 through 1.3, and then you'll have a quiz. So when you take that quiz, take it as if it were a test. And if you do well, then you know you're doing well so far. But if you're really struggling, you're having to go back to your notes, then that's an indication that you need more work. And hopefully by the second time you take that quiz, you'll feel more confident that you're ready to go on, and eventually you'll know that material when you take your test. I do want to mention this. We do have what's called a core quiz. This is a quiz that's going to be given to all students in college algebra, and it's basically a measure of how you guys are doing as students, as Brookhaven students. So on that one, you'll only take it once. But otherwise, normally you have 60 minutes, and you'll have 2 chances on the quizzes. All right, we talked about the test, and the final exam it is comprehensive, which means it has questions from throughout the course, and it is 25 question multiple choice test. All right, let's move on to the next page. So attendance. You should expect to spend about 9 to 12 hours a week in this course, I would say at least. For a student that hasn't done a whole lot of math in a while, and you have a lot of catch up to do, or going back and reviewing things, it could be a lot more than that. It really just depends on your background. So I just want to warn you up front, there's a lot of work involved in this course, especially for those that don't have the strongest background in algebra. I mean, really, beginning and intermediate algebra are the foundation for this course, and if you don't have a strong foundation in that, you're going to have to do a lot of extra work. It talks about transitioning to college and online learning. I actually took that out, but I did give you some other stuff in its place. But basically, the college has a link that talks about how to be successful in an online course. And so those links are built into eCampus, and I'll show you those when I do an eCampus tour. All right, laid homework. So you'll notice that anything that's laid is half credit, except for tests, up until the day of the test. So you'll do some homework, you'll do some quizzes, you'll take your test. Once you take that test, it's too late to get any kind of credit for those homework assignments. So it's very important that you're completing all the assignments before you take the test. As far as the tests are concerned, I don't do retakes, so it's really important that you contact me right away if for some reason you're not going to be able to take the test. And I may or may not be able to work with you depending on the situation. But I'm a very reasonable person. It's very important that you're not, that you're taking the test on time. Students tend to procrastinate and then they want more time. That's not a good excuse for not taking your test. And if you foresee a problem, the sooner you tell me about it, the better off we'll be. Institutional policies. So there's a lot of things I didn't talk about. Excuse me. And these are things that you can find in the institutional policies where if you just click on this link when you're in the syllabus, it'll take you to those. And you should look through those at least once, especially if you're a new student. All right, let's move on. So we're ready to look at the course schedule now. And again, this really tells you, what you need to be doing each week. And again, I'll also announce that each week in eCampus. So you can see the first week, there's some online learning information that I'll want you to look through. There's a link for there's an assignment basically set up. It's optional for how to enter answers in my math lab. If you're pretty savvy on the computer, you'll probably be fine. But if you're having any problems, you can go back through. I made the due date in December, so you can go back and look at that at any point if you need to. And here's our 3 assignments that are due the first week by Sunday, August 30th, and it's basically right before midnight. And again, you need to get a better 80% or better on the assignments. All right, so you can see the first 4 weeks. Notice in the 4th week is when we have our first test. Anyway, I hope that tells you everything you need to know about the course, but if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. And again, I hope you have a great semester.